Okay, so I know all of your backgrounds as I've looked you all up and read your bios, and this really is such an amazing panel. But I want to go around and ask each of you to do a quick intro so the listeners and the ones that are watching the recording can know a little bit about who you are. I would love for you to include one, where you're located, since we're all over the world, what you do, and what brought you to speak on this panel today. So where you're located, what you do, and what brought you to speak on this panel. And I'm going to go in order of what I see. So Kate, we will start with you.
Hey, Doke, Kate Byrne, coming live from San Rafael, Marin County, California. So it's early, hot afternoon, and I am the CEO of Catapult X, which is a Norwegian and London-based company that is devoted to impact investing, and specifically with an eye towards meeting and marrying creatives and tech founders so that we can create tech for good. On the side, my side hustle is I'm also the editor of Media Village's womenadvancing.org podcast and video series. And the reason why I came to this today is I think it's really important for each of us to take care of ourselves, especially as we take more and more on, and especially all the systems that are broken ahead of us. We need to make sure that we are lifting each other up as opposed to depleting ourselves. So, and I wanted to meet this amazing crew of badass ladies.
I love it. I'm so excited to get to know you more today, Kate. Michelle, let's go.
Yes, my name is Michelle Rock. I'm from North Little Rock, Arkansas, and I'm so happy to be here today. It's important to me for us to invest in ourselves because we give so much to everybody else. And so just glad to be here. Today, I am a founder of a nonprofit organization and look forward to sharing the panel with these beautiful women.
Thank you so much, Michelle. Okay, now I'm not going to say it right after we were going through this, but Wiffy, you're going to have to say it again for me, but you're up.
Wife Nome, and I am from Nigeria, and I am a presentation skills coach. As a presentation skills coach, I work with working professionals. I help them to improve the quality of their presentation so that they can get more results every time they present. And I also happen to be a facilitator at an image consulting firm, Panache Hub. At Panache Hub, we train executives as well in the areas of their communication, interpersonal relationships, and professional presence. So why I am here is when I saw Amplifying Her Voice, it resonated with me because part of what I do is to help working professionals as well to find their voice. I used to be someone who found it difficult to express my ideas. And at the end of the day, you find out that other people will share the same ideas you have in your head, they get recognized and they get rewarded for it. So my goal is to help women and working professionals to get to that point where they can actually use their voice, share their ideas, and help make the change.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to learn a little bit more about you today. Okay, I know you said we could call you Maddie, but Mediha, how are you?
Thank you so much, Brooke. So, hi everyone, this is Mediha Khan Yusufzai, and my short name is Medi. I'm here from Pakistan. And so basically, I love to empower people and organizations because this is my passion first, then my profession. So I happen to be a coach, and technically I'm a neuro-linguistic programming coach. So I empower organizations through project management because that is my core sector. I'm working in IT. And when it comes to empowering people, so I do through mindset coaching and using NLP learnings for it. And the reason why I'm here, so I think this topic is so relatable, investing in yourself, because I think only because of that, by investing into my own self at my own will, I'm here today also. And I have been recommended by by Shelly Brunswick and Anu Bhardwaj for this. So this is this example of women supporting women. Yeah. And this is why I'm here to share my story too, that why investing in yourself is important. Thank you.
Ruth, you said you can't hear us.
I wasn't hearing
Mute
Madiha.
yourself when you're not speaking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Let us know if you can't in the future. We could hear. I could hear Maddie. Could everybody else hear Maddie? Okay, wonderful. Well, Ruth, you are up, so we will let you introduce yourself. Let us know where you're from and what you do and what brought you here today.
Okay, thank you, ladies. My name is Ruth Zuberu. I'm from Nigeria, and I am an online visibility consultant. So I help individual brands and businesses get seen, get known, and get paid online. So what brought me here, I think in one of the groups I belong to on Facebook, I saw the call for speakers, and I just wanted to lend my voice because I love the fact that women are beginning to own up to their brilliance, to shine, to let the spotlight, be on them. We're used to working behind the background. We're used to getting things done for other people. But if there's a way we can amplify our voices as women, I think everyone should be all in for that. And so that's really part of what I do in my business. And I'm here to connect with other women and celebrate everyone as part of the Mother's Day celebrations. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Ruth. Well, it is wonderful to meet all of you. I love doing panels like this and getting to moderate because it's just, I think selfishly, it's a great way for a busy entrepreneur to get to meet other people that are doing amazing things in the world. So thank you all for being here. And my name is Brooke Markovichis. I'm the founder and CEO of a company named Allobee. We are a one-stop business solution for the overwhelmed entrepreneur and startup founder. And we help connect you with a fully vetted workforce of women that have left the traditional 9-to-5 or have been forced out of it. And I started this company about 3 years ago and have been on an entrepreneur journey after leaving both nonprofit and tech after that. So it is really great to be here. I know Anu and was just honored to be a part of anything that she puts out into the world. So excited to be here today helping to moderate this panel. So I want to ask you guys the next question for today. And what we'll do for this one is kind of a bit of a popcorn style. So you can unmute your mic and go for it. But I know as a woman, it is really hard, and especially if you're a mother to invest in yourself. And it can be a really hard thing to focus on self-care, wellness, advancement of your career, and so much more. So I really want to dive into this a little bit and talk about how each of you have invested in yourself in various ways. So let's start with a focus on career and career advancement. I know we can talk about a lot of other things with this, so let's start with career advancement first. How have you invested in yourself to help support your career? And whoever wants to unmic can go first.
I start. I've invested in myself by pushing myself beyond the limit. My personal motto, if I can't move beyond that which I have already mastered, then I would never grow. And that has included pursuing and achieving 2 engineering degrees and a PhD. But I'm also investing in myself by pursuing other passions. Years ago when I made the leap from engineering to sales, I was investing in myself, and it didn't make sense to a lot of people because they like, you're invested all that time educationally and, training in a specific field. So now you're changing. And sometimes investing in yourself changes from year to year because our passion changes, and we have to be able to do that unapologetically. So that's my story.
Love that. It changes from season to season and how we're going in our life. It's so true. That's been my experience as well. Who would like to share some wisdom with us next? Go for it, Kate.
Great, thanks. Completely agree. Education, really important. When thinking of this question, I'm actually coming at it from a different angle, and I'm surprising myself by doing this, but I'm going to say I've invested in myself in career advancement by actually saying no and being more discerning on the projects that I'm going to. I don't have to pretzel myself every 2 frickin' seconds and be the one who oh, sure, I'll take that on. My time is valuable. I'm valuable and that sort of thing. And as a result, also asking for help and hiring others. So that gives me more time so I can go do that education or I can go do that speaking gig, right? So it comes in a lot of different forms, but I think that would probably be it. And I always try to do one new thing. I had a teacher, her name was Angela Arian, and she always said, try and do one new thing on what would be your birthday every month. So my birthday is April 13th. So tomorrow I've got to do something new. So each 13th of the month, I try one new thing, to your point, get you a little uncomfortable because then you're growing.
Oh, I love that. I'm going to have to start doing that. That's a good tip. I'm a big proponent of continuing education constantly and always learning new things. And people will always look at my back of my career and go, oh, wow, you kind of went through a lot of steps. I was like, yeah, but everything from the very first connected dot has led to where I am now. And I'm not as good, or I wouldn't be as good here if I hadn't have had that experience. So I think
I'm just going to say my favorite quote is, all who wander are not lost.
Yep.
And the way I say it is, hello, I was a millennial before it was a thing.
I love it. Yes. Who else would like to go on this topic?
I like to go
We'll go Ruth first, and then
Okay, so I look at investing in myself, giving myself the permission to reinvent myself. My story started from the part where like Michelle, I had trained as a human anatomist, real deep into paramedicals and all of that. And when I got married and had my kids, my first 2 sons, I needed to be closer home. And so I had to look for options to work from home. And so I started thinking to myself, what can I do from home? That's how I ventured into blogging and freelance writing. And eventually, people began to ask me to do work for them. I had to then go and take a course in PR communications. And so sometimes when I look at where I'm coming from, it's almost like it's a contrast. When people ask, what's your background? And I go, human anatomy. They're like, what? But investing in myself meant, okay, this is where I am headed right now. And I can change. I'm permitted to change who you once knew me as, or who I am, in order to fit the dream and vision I have for myself. And right now, where I believe I'm heading to, because there's a lot of women who are in, those middle cracks, and they're thinking, can I learn something totally new and all of that? So yeah, investing in myself really means that I give myself the permission to think differently, reinvent, and then learn. And so the more I learn, the more I implement it, and that's how I eventually build what I'm building now. Right now, we're about launching an app, on an app in a couple of weeks. It's already out on Play Store, Sambe app for content auto generation. Sometimes I think to myself, you're so deep in tech right now. I'm like, what? But it has been such a learning journey, and it's fun for me because I'm interested in in what it is I'm doing and how it's giving solutions to other people. So yeah, for me, some form of reinvention, rising of the phoenix, like some other people.
Yes, that's just so that hits at me too. I think that so many women that I work with that are a part of ALOB have had to reinvent themselves and figure out what the next phase of life was for them. When there was that lack of flexibility and they couldn't they had a kid and they needed to figure out what to do. And it doesn't mean your career has to be over. You just reinvent it based off of what you need to do in your life. And I say so often that when I had my daughter and then my son eventually too, that it was the best thing for my career because I got rid of the BS and I said, no, this is what I'm going to do. And I don't have time for the rest of it. And I'm going to work my way into what I want. And so I love that reinvention based off of your experience. So thank you, Ruth. And now let's see here. Who wants to go next? Go for it.
Okay, so what's investing in myself I would share here is investing in my mind, getting my mind to think in accordance with the woman that I want to become or that I aspire to become. And because much like Ruth and Michelle, I studied nursing and I felt divinely led to leave nursing and to do coaching and entrepreneurship. But when I got that inspiration, I'm not your average, I'm not an extrovert, I'm not outgoing, I'm not vocal about what I think and how I feel and all that. So I was a bit skeptical about how do I even go about this? I'm not a people person. How do I convince people to work with me and all that? And I remember I got an inspiration from a scripture in the Bible where Paul said to Timothy, study to show yourself approved. And that was the line for me, study to show yourself approved. Because I was thinking, are people going to accept me? Are people going to want to work with me? And the word was study, learn to show yourself approved. And one day I also got a quote. I don't know who said that quote, but I just saw it on Facebook and it stuck with me. It says that you should be so good that they cannot ignore you. And so that is what investing in myself is. So I work on myself. I develop my mind. I ask myself, what are the limiting mindsets that I have? And I try to work over that to get myself thinking in the way that serves me, not in the way that inhibits my progress and my success. So as women, I think that is something that is so important because we are tuned in. I don't know where you guys are from, how the society is right there, but one of the challenges that I had was you are a woman and, women are supposed to be seen, not heard. So that was a challenge. How do you become vocal and be able to deal with the people who would want to tell you, hey, remember, you're still a woman. I am not married. My motherhood experience that I have is I have a cousin that I've been raising since she was 3 years old. So personally, I'm not married. So there's that, oh, don't be so vocal, don't be so ambitious. So men won't feel threatened and, run away from you and all that. But so I had to think to myself, what kind of woman would you like to be? And if you eventually get with a man, what kind of woman would you want to be to that man? A liability, an asset, what is it? So whatever stage that we are in, this is where the game is either won or lost. You invest in your mind. You have to think about where you're coming from. There are a lot of limiting mindsets that can hold you back. So you have to think of those things and find words, find inspiration from other people. Get a coach to help you to work on those negative mindsets so that you can step into positivity. I also love this quote from Jim Rohn, and I think that's where I'm going to stop. He said that success is what you attract by who you become. So as we are working on improving and getting higher on the career ladder, we have to think about, who are we? Can who I am actually step into that place that I want to step into? And if it cannot, what can I do to upgrade me? What can I do to upgrade the way that I think? What can I do to upgrade the way that I relate with other people? Because at the end of the day, you are what determines the level of success that you can have in your career.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom there. It's so true. I mean, ones that limit ourselves. Yes, there's societal issues that come into play, but we can bust through them if we have the right mindset and bring along the right people with us. And I think that that's really important for us to always pay attention to. So thank you so much for sharing that. And Maddie, would you like to share as well?
Sure, I would love to. Because, and I think I want to start with this, that investment in yourself is the best investment where there is zero loss, and it is the guaranteed profitability, and it pays you off eventually. So for me, like when it comes to investing into my career, so yes, there had been a time when I was working full time and I was studying full time also, because I had to, like, earn some degrees that time. So this is how I chose to do it. And what motivated me and what still keeps motivating me, because I call myself a student for the lifetime, and to learn from every moment and every interaction we are having with other people also. And even when we are sitting alone, let's say, so there you can always observe the environment around you and surroundings. So what has motivated me, like these are my goals. So when it comes to people empowerment, yes, I can choose to empower one person, to empower 100%, and then to empower, let's say, the whole world. So it's about amplifying the impact of my goals. So this has always kept me motivating towards investing. And also I want to explore, have, like, being this advocate of growth mindset, that we as all human beings can learn as much as we want. And it's about that we are going to see that what is the limit of our limits. So again, like, this point which Buffet was saying, that it's about the limiting beliefs. Because every time, even if we look back, let's say 5 years back ourselves or 10 years back, I think we wouldn't have thought that we would have come that far. So that means maybe 10 years back there was a situation which we thought that, okay, this is the maximum limit of potential, but we never know our potential, because your potential is limitless. So you can keep exploring it. Thank you.
So true. We are limitless and we can always continue to explore. Thank you so much, Maddie, for sharing that. I wanted to now let us shift gears a little bit into talking about investing in our well-being and wellness, because we all know that just as important it is to invest in our career, we cannot get very far if we burn out, and we have to make sure that we're incorporating well-being and wellness into our livelihood every single day. So as successful and busy women and mothers, I know it can be extra hard for us to do this. And I speak this very much. This is very hard for me as well. But I know one of my dear friends and authors, Eve Radsky, the author of Fair Play, talks a lot about in her book that we have to claim this unicorn space for ourselves as women and as a spouse or as a mother, whatever our roles are in life. We have to claim time that is ours, and it's time bound, that we said we're going to have an hour to ourselves today. Because oftentimes we would, I was guilty of saying, I'm going to work out today, and then maybe in a few weeks, I'll take an hour to myself to do X, Y, or Z. But claiming that every day was a super powerful thing for me, especially during the last year or so with the pandemic. Making sure that I had that time, that it wasn't for work, it wasn't for my kids, it wasn't for my spouse, it was for me. And so I wanted to ask each one of you, because I always find so much value in hearing from what others are doing in this specific space with investing in your well-being and wellness. Obviously, all of us are very different, come from all different backgrounds, have very different schedules in life and career, but What are you doing right now to invest in yourself and your well-being and wellness? And we'll do popcorn again. So unmute your mic and go for it.
I would say the most difficult part with that is finding balance and investing in yourself career-wise and education-wise and everything else. But what's interesting, we as women, moms, aunties, and everybody else, we have no problem investing in others. When they're not sick, when they're not well, when they are down and out, when they are hurting. So you may see me moving a little more. It's not that I'm fidgety. I just had knee replacement surgery that I should have had 15 years ago. So it was just a few days ago. I'm home now, and I'm thinking, why did I delay this? Because it was always a reason. Well, I have this to do. I have this to do. Well, and what should have just been 15 years ago, something I've done 15 years ago because of investing in all these other things were 15 years delayed. Even with this opportunity to amplify our voices together came up, I was like, no, I'm not postponing it anymore. I'm doing this, and I'm gonna have the audacity to still get on here and share my voice, amplify my voice. So we have to find that balance in learning how to take care of ourselves and invest in ourselves from all different angles, just like we don't ever hesitate to do with others.
You're so right. I also a few months ago found out that I have early osteoarthritis in my low back, and I was having all of these problems and had to go to a few doctors to figure it out. And I very quickly at first was like, I'll just deal with this later. That was just like my mentality at first because I have a lot going on. And then I was like, nope, I can't do that because I don't want to wait the 15 years. It's very tempting to do that as you're trying to invest in your career and in the midst of it. But I try to tell myself every single day when I am going into starting work for the day that if I can't show up at my top, game, then everything's going to crumble, and I'm there for a reason to make an impact. And I don't want to leave everybody high and dry if I'm out for, a long time. So that's definitely a very good lesson to learn, and something that's hard, especially as an ambitious woman, to make sure to take that time for you, even though, like you said, Michelle, we would drop everything to help everybody but ourselves. So I think that if anything you're going to take away from this part of it, make sure that if anything comes up, you take care of it now and don't put it off, especially when it comes to your wellness and well-being. So thank you, Michelle. Who would like to go next?
I really early learned I have a ton of energy. It can be a lot, which is a good thing. And as long as I put it to good use. But I think all of us on this call, clearly, right? All of us have a lot of energy, because otherwise we wouldn't be in the positions that we're doing and doing the work that we're doing. But I realized that if I do not physically get rid of it, and it doesn't mean I have to climb mountains or I have to run marathons. I mean, that's all great. Yay, you who do that. But especially as I've gotten older, I realized just physically, I have to recognize, you know what? I can get just the same. I can exert the same or similar, even just by being kind to my body and saying, hey, okay, I'm going to do walks, longer walks. I start and end my day with my dog. And usually in the evening now, especially because of COVID, my husband joins us, which is really kind of fun. So I think of it as washing the day off. And then I'm a very early riser. It works out well since the company I run is based in Norway and I'm in California. But I love that really quiet time. And I allow myself to just get quiet and either do my journaling or do 5 or 10 minutes of meditation. It does not have to be a gazillion hours, everybody. It does make a difference, even if you just show up for 5 minutes. So I so recommend all of that. And then I treat myself, it's true, to a facial once a month. And I love the facial because, especially the new lady I just found, oh my God, She does magical things with my hands. My eyebrows have raised. Who knew? But it's just a treat, and that's the one thing I think, okay, if that's my, big huzzah, then I feel good. So then I feel gives me even more energy. So, but those are my little treats.
I love that I was making lots of excuses for not going to get facials or massages anymore. So what I decided to do, and this is my in between a decision, was that there was a really good deal from a company that had some really nice facial steamer and microdermabrasion and all of that. And I just ordered the set for myself to do every Sunday night and take a bath. And so that's my new thing. And I was able to ease myself into that very easily. And it's lovely and it's wonderful. And so if you can't make yourself go and take the time for that, if you can't get that far, this was a good in between.
No, and it's really true. And the truth is, because, if you want to help a village, help a woman, right? And so we are that center point. So we have to help ourselves. And then we also have to point out to others, we have to help out others, but we'll get into that a little bit later, I'm sure.
For sure. Okay, I know that a few of you have unmiked. So Maddie, if you want.
Yes, I would love to go next. And extending to this point which Kate has shared, so even I ensure that I monthly go to spa. And let's say even if I'm not going to spa, I'll just go for getting my hair trimmed, because it is like a good service, being pampered, and I'm not getting the length shot, but it is just a trimming. So it is a good break, and that is my time. And whenever I go there, and let's say if they are taking time, so I say, okay, I have all the day for you people, right? I'm here to relax. I'm not here in the rush that, oh, I need to go back to home or I have to do some work. So once I am there, then I'm all relaxed and I enjoy that environment. In addition to that, what I do, yes, 5 minutes meditation I also do on daily basis, but sometimes I'm not able to do it, to be honest. So what I do, and this is my, let's say, very rigorous habit, that every day when I'm having my food, so that is my me time. I enjoy each and every this bite of my food, and that time I'm just sitting quiet. And yes, so this is one thing which I do. And also, let's say if I daily, even if I'm working from home, I daily dress up. So that is another time which I'm giving to myself. I iron my clothes, and that is what I want to do at my own, because in the region where I live, so we get the help also, so we can hire people and pay for these services to iron our clothes and everything, or to even wash them. But this is something which I do at my own, because that is my me time, that relaxes me. And in that time, I'm not talking to anyone, even if my family is around or anyone is around. So that is the time that, okay, I'm fully invested into myself. And also when it comes to, because you asked that what is the career goal, so yes, we are, when it comes to our passion, so there was this one Harvard study that passionate people can be at the verge of having the burnout, because we are so passionate that we do not take rest, and we are having this energy that we want to be go nonstop. So this is where, yes, I take my breaks on daily basis and on monthly basis. And that's why I decided that every year I'm just going to invest into my one professional certification. And last year when I decided it, and despite it was COVID, there were 3 months and I had to do 3 professional certifications, because my trainers were only offering it in those months. So those had been nonstop, despite I made a decision. But then I was able to stick to it, that, okay, now how I want to reap out of every professional certification which I have earned. Because of course, those schedules were not in my control, but then rest of the things which were in my control, I made sure to optimize that time. Thank you.
Love
Thanks,
that you
Kate.
said that in your control, what's in your control and what's not in your control. And I think as women, we often try to get into what we're not in control of too. So just letting that go. And I've tried to do much better at that this year too. So I know with that, if you would like to go next.
So I'm going to just start from where Madi has stopped, because I am the chief of control freaks. Like, I like to be in control. I like to plan things out and then have those things work out the way that I plan them out. So when it doesn't work out that way, I go from here and just spiral down. Just it gets bad. It gets really bad. So one thing I've learned to do is to understand that there are things that I can have control over, and there are things that I cannot have control over. And to let those things be, to be okay with not being in control. That has taken me quite a while to get to that point, and to actually allow that is a process. I am not there 100%, but it is a process that I've started to actually let things that are outside of my control be. The second thing is I sometimes get mood swings. I can just be great now, happy, excited to work and all that. And then the next minute I go down. Nothing has happened. Nothing has gone amiss. Nothing. But I just start feeling like somebody else. And before now, I didn't know what that was or how to control that and all that. But now I've come to understand myself that if I'm working, because once that happens, I cannot work. I can't do anything. I can't write because I write. I can't write. I can't plan any training. I just can't do anything. And the worst, I wouldn't even want to talk to anybody about it or about anything. So I'll just like go into myself and stay in and with that pain. But what I've come to understand is that it's okay for me to feel that way sometimes, but I may not be able to finish the work that I had planned to finish, but it's okay to let that time go by. So one of the things that helps me out is to actually watch a movie. As a control freak, that wasn't very rational for me. Like, how would I use my time that I can use to do work to watch a movie? It wasn't something that I was excited about, but I've just come to understand that once I just give it that 1 hour, 2 hours and just watch that movie, I feel better. And then the second thing is also getting out and hanging out with friends. I'm an introvert, so that this part is really, really difficult for me. What I've come to do is to let my friends know. Because sometimes when we have these low moments, we try to work it out ourselves, we try to hide from every other person. So I've intentionally let my friends know, okay, I get this way sometimes, and it affects my work, it affects my relationship. Because sometimes you start acting some ways towards your friends and they won't understand. Did we do something wrong? Did I do something wrong? What did I do to offend her and all that? So I've come to just intentionally let them know this is where I am, this is what happens sometimes. And then the fact that I have their support and that safe environment with them, I make it a point to get out and hang out with them. When you work from home, it's difficult to go out because you have to work. So I make that conscious effort to hang out with my friends. It helps me a lot. Watching movies, listening to music. I love listening to music, especially words, lyrics that are uplifting. So watching movies, listening to music, and hanging out with friends, that helps me a lot.
That's such good advice. I know for me, when I've had so much on my plate and I just like can't even read anymore, like can't do anything, I just have to veg out with like a show or a movie too. And just like, it needs to just take me completely away, or a really good book that I can just go away with and not have to think about anything. Not a nonfiction book, an actual fiction book, and really just kind of get out of my head. And I think that's kind of the ultimate, is get out of my head from, the anxiety or the stress and whatever frustration it is, and being okay with it. And I think for me, like I go all day. And then at the end of the day, I have a very hard stop at like no matter what at 9 o'clock, I just goodbye everything and just turn it all off. And if I don't do that, I have a really hard time like keeping up with that stamina throughout the day, every day. And I can tell when I haven't done that for sure. So Ruth, I think you are up now if you would like to share.
Yes, I mean, the insights from the ladies has really been very useful. For me, something that I do differently is I've learned to say no, because I'm a giver, because I'm always looking out to help, to I see something and I know I can make it better. I know I can do it. I often realize that I have taken on a lot, and sometimes not really for money. I have taken on a lot, and in getting them done, in addition to running a family, helping the boys with work, and in the past year, there was some part of homeschooling, I needed to breathe. And then I had to tell myself, when I see something or someone approaches me and say, hey, Ruth, can you help me do this? I will say, oh, this really sounds really good, but I can't really do it now. It used to be really hard for me, but I'm getting better at it. And so I can, say no, because it really is a hard thing for many women. And so you find out you're helping this person, you're being pulled in so many different directions. At the end of the day, you're stressed, worn out, and it's almost like you brought it on yourself. Because if you ask them, they would say, I didn't know she was not going to be able to do it. I wouldn't have put her in a difficult situation. So so learning to say no is a big part of my investing in my self-care. Another part that I recently started doing was to delegate more and not micromanage. Now, so I'm running a consulting firm. We're doing work for clients, and then I have team members. So sometimes I just feel the back and forth it will take to tell someone to do it. And when they send something, I'll just get it done and, do it all myself. But I learned that I can't do that. First, it's not good for their development. And secondly, it's not a good use of my time. So I need to really preserve my energies to ensure that I'm preserving my energies. I'm doing what I absolutely should do, not what some other person can do. And so it was really important for me to help me to preserve my time, to preserve my energy, so that I'm not stressed and worn out at the end of the day doing what some other person, can be able to take off my plate, because I just don't want to delegate, or I just don't trust that they are going to be able to do the work that, I've said, okay, we can do. And so when I've done that, then the other thing that I also choose to do is to intentionally create memories with my children. And so I find that sometimes, instead of seeing them as hindrances to my work, getting work done, and they're butting into my time, to know that they're only little for this long. And I have all boys, and very soon, boys they wouldn't want to be cuddly, they wouldn't want to be all around you, they just want to be by themselves. So I really don't have so much time with them. So I intentionally, when I get those them wanting my time, I tell myself that I need to create the memories that they would take with them. So I create time to make memories with the children, so that it's part of investing in my self-care. I'm feeling the warmth, I'm feeling fulfilled. Sometimes I take those little videos, and so when I get so stressed and we're all looking at the videos and we're laughing, and it just fills me with so much positive energy, because I know that, we have these memories together, and I'm not just running because I need to meet one deadline after the other.
I love that, Ruth. And I always tell myself that it's the quality of the time over the quantity of the time that I spend with my kids or with my spouse or with anybody, really. And that there's only so many hours in the day. But we try to make Saturdays really special as a family. because right now that's kind of what we've got for our energy level and the times. So we really try to put a lot of energy and effort that's fun for everybody, so that it's not stressful for mom and dad, that it's actually like enjoyable and fun for everybody. So thank you for sharing your wisdom with us today. I wanted to transition into kind of a two-parter, depending on what your experience is and how you want to take this. But we obviously, the more we invest in ourselves, it's helped us to grow as leaders, helped us to grow in as women and in business, as well as educators, whatever your background is. But it also allows us to invest in others and to give back to others in so many different ways. So I would love to know your take on how investing in yourself has helped you invest in others more. So if you want to jump in and answer that question, just unmute your mic.
Okay, Brooke, I want to go here first. And yes, before even answering this question, I think I want to relate with what Buffet was saying, that sometimes like we are experiencing some emotions, and then that can impact our, let's say, like, some of the work which we are doing. And I think this is where I'm going to like answer this question. So what happened, like, a few years back, and especially because when we are women who are accomplished women, and we tend to like, give this impression somehow, or this is how people are conditioned to see us as very strong women, right? And then they say, so what happened, I was having this like, this one moment where I was feeling very low. So my family and my friends, they said that, Madiha, we cannot see you that low, because you are like, always strong, and rather you are cheering us up. So now if you are feeling low, then sorry, we cannot help you, because we do not know that how does it look like that when Madiha can be like, having these low feelings. And okay, so like, first two times I heard them and I was like, okay, then I need to like, cheer up myself at my own. But then later when it started happening, and so when third time it happened, so I told to my family and even friends that I am also the human, and I can experience the emotions, because every human experiences the emotions. So you shall be with me and like, support me, not only when I'm feeling good, but especially when I'm feeling low also. And only then it can be a meaningful relationship that way. So this is so important, that sometimes people are not ready to listen to us. So now I have myself coaches. I am a coach, and I also got myself coaches. And even recently I was having this like, some low time 2-3 weeks back, and then I called up a friend who also happens to be a coach. But that time I just called that person, I said that I want to talk to you and I need a friend. Do not put your coaching hat on at all. And then he was like, okay, fine. So he was based in like South Africa, and we had to coordinate our time. It took us 2 days to coordinate first, and then I was like, I just want to talk right now, and it's that way. So, but eventually this happened. So now when it comes to investing into others, that how we have helped. So I think my learnings of coaching, and also my experience of traveling internationally, that has really helped me to share certain perspectives with other people here in my own town, in my city, and also in my region. And then like, to tell them that what good practices we can go for, and also to offer them these different cultural aspects, that when they are talking, and when let's say they are making some application, the mobile application, so then I want them to include this diversity and inclusion point. And then I tell them that this is how internationally it is happening. So have you considered these points? So this is how to make it meaningful, that by investing into myself, like what benefits I have gained. And because I'm very active when it comes to networking, and I have network not only in my country but out of my country for this domain where I'm working. So I happen to be very first Pakistani person, not only the Pakistani women, who has make the name not only of my name but my country name also into those domains. So this is where like I help them, that this is how you can make anything, like in my journey there were so many things which were impossible apparently, if any person would be sitting and thinking about it, because they are not accessible to my country for, let's say, many reasons. But then are we choosing to give up that time, or are we making our way to make it possible? So this is how I have helped others, and definitely I have learned so many things from other people also.
Thank you so much for sharing, Maddie. Who would like to go next?
So, how I've been able to invest in others. Like I mentioned before, I am an introvert and I used to be really, really shy and timid. And I would literally not come out of the sitting room when we have visitors in my house growing up. And that kind of welled into my career when I got into the marketplace. So I was often hiding. And the more I hid, the more opportunities ran from me. Because at the end of the day, security chases opportunities away. So when I learned to communicate my ideas and not just share them, but share them in a way that my listeners can actually buy into what I am saying, I decided to also make that available to others. So I started with coaching other women on self-confidence, because you can have every other skill, you can have every other qualification, you could, if you don't have confidence, all those things, you cannot use all those things to the greatest potential that they have. So I began to teach other women how to build their self-confidence. But as I did that, I noticed people started asking me, okay, how express myself? How do I speak? How do I make presentations? And I segued into that, teaching working professionals how to deliver presentations at work that gets them recognized and rewarded. Because that is so important. When you can share an idea and people know this came from you, it helps in one of the basic human needs is self-actualization. That feeling of, oh, I set this goal for myself. I set this objective and now I've been able to get there. I've accomplished it. So expressing yourself is one way you can do that. And that's actually why I run the presentation skills coaching. I want to help as many people as possible to learn to deliver presentations that gets results. The other thing that I do is I partner with an organization and we go to secondary schools to teach secondary school students, that's high school, to teach secondary school students personal effectiveness. When I had a stint one time where I trained recent graduates, and I figured out from my own experience of studying nursing, which, by the way, if I had known what I know now, then I had no business with nursing, but I did that. So when I work with graduates, I realized that a lot of them had the same issue. They've just graduated from school, and the 4, 5, 6 years they spent in school, they were studying something they had zero interest in. So how do we prevent that from happening? Going to secondary schools and helping the secondary school students make the right decision before getting into university. So if they're going to spend the next 4 or 5 years in the university, it has to be developing themselves in the area of their interest, in the area that they have natural strength and ability. And so we do that. The other thing is helping people with their personal branding. It's just something that comes up. Okay, you've taught me how to speak. How do I put myself out there? How do I transition? Or like Ruth, the word you use, how do I reinvent myself how did you do it from being a nurse to now being a trainer and a published speaker? How can I do the same thing? So I just try as much as possible to invest in others that way. I have this phrase that I coined to always remind me of what's more important: people over profit. So now I measure my success not by how much I make in terms of money, but how many people I've been able to invest in and impact and help them move from where they are now to a higher trajectory in their lives or their businesses. And that is so fulfilling, so fulfilling. Thank you.
Yes, impact. I think that is the power of all of these women's voices getting amplified over these 3 days. Is just the power that we can provide and the impact that we can make when we come together and believe in ourselves and invest in ourselves and show up and help support one another and help others learn how to invest in themselves, and we invest in them as well. So thank you for sharing that. Who would like to go next?
I go. I need to invest in lead by example by investing in yourself. I take my knee surgery. Well, it's hard for me to help somebody else learn how to stand, and I can't stand because my knee and my body is weak. And I think that's when you can practice what you preach. People are watching not only what you say, but what you do. So it's so important to lead by example. It's so important to show no pain, no gain through what we do for ourselves and how we invest in ourselves. So that's what I think is important. And that balance, again, to not only invest in yourself, but investing in others.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Michelle, for sharing that wisdom. Would anybody else like to share?
So for me, what I've started doing is when there are certain opportunities, for instance, speaking and such, to actually make sure that I bring someone along with me, or I actually give them the opportunity to speak. Just because I think the only way we're ever going to get more voices and those that don't look like me around is for those who look like me to get the mofo out of the way so that more, we can have greater diversity of thought, just broader conversations. So I really, really can't emphasize enough that, when you do get an opportunity to either speak or present or, I don't know, even be on a board, think of someone else who could really have a great shot of who do perhaps even a better job, just because it's, you're already so sort of stretched. So that would be my real urging. I would also say when we see someone else do well and get praised and lauded for it, please join in, as opposed to, there's that weird little jealous thing that sometimes come in. I'm now old enough, so that's gone. Well, sometimes still comes up, but for the most part, I just think that's so important because, we've already got enough hills to climb for us to not help each other. And so if we can just remember when someone else is having a shining moment and recognizing, being in recognition, that's actually a total model and a mirror of what's to come for you, or even not, but just, wow, that's so cool. My time's coming and there's plenty of other opportunities. So I would just say, really make an effort to share in that kind of thing.
Definitely. Bring others along with you is some of the most important advice I have received and that I have been part of, as people bringing me along with them. And I feel like that's one of the best ways you can give back, especially if you don't have money to physically invest in other people, or if you don't have a platform to bring them along, get onto other people's platforms and bring them with you. It's just so much that you can do by bringing them along and supporting them on the journey. Okay. Anybody else like to share? And then we're almost at the end. So we're going to start doing some last thoughts and some pearls of wisdom from each one of you to leave. Yes, please go.
I think for me, the investing in other people, I came to the point I find myself right now because of intentional growth and the power of upward mentoring, and sideways mentoring. So I learned from coaches. I received learning from coaches and mentors, and then I had the advantage of being with people who are like minds and a peer-to-peer mentoring, basically. And so what I do essentially to invest, in other people is to teach and train. So we have a program where we bring in interns into our establishment and then actually handhold them through the learning process of offering these services. And sometimes they get hired off from our company, as implants in other places. And so they build their capacities, they build skills that are marketable, and I believe that is something that is not just for one person's profit, but is for empowering the next person. Another way I have also invested in other people is by raising the standard or quality of the service I deliver. So when I'm learning, I'm going out, I'm getting certification, strategy, and all of that, I implement those in the actual service that I deliver. And the results are amazing. When people come to me and they're paying for the services, but they're saying, "Thank you so much. I'm getting so much value. I'm seeing so much results. It's such a short time." I'm so happy because it means that the investment is paying off, because I'm all for value, and over delivering value. Still investing in others. I'm still very endeared to stay-at-home moms. I'm a work-at-home moms, and we're building that environment where these women can think and say, and there's this thing I always say: your dreams are valid. Your dreams are still valid. Don't think about it like, oh, if it was before, or if I could. So I tell them, yes, you can do. And so with the network of people that I have in my community and my colleagues, and so those who are looking to either go back into 9 to 5, we have other access to other training jobs like being a business analyst, other things where we help them, find their feet. Economic empowerment for the woman is something that I can never get tired of, because at some level the woman would need to stand for herself, and because things happen. If the man is the sole provider, he may lose his job, he may get into a business that didn't go well, or he may die. And so what happens if the woman is not empowered enough to take care of herself and the children? So that has been another part of my my drive and my goal, to ensure that women are investing themselves enough to be able to stand on their 2 feet economically and provide for themselves, and be not just be there for the children emotionally, but can also provide for the children and be an asset, basically. Because these days, nobody wants a liability as a wife and all that. So you should also bring something to the table. And that is part of what my investments in the people and the community of women that I belong to. That's what we do.
So good. Thank you, Ruth, for sharing that with us today. I would love to now transition into each of you just sharing a short tip of wisdom that you have for us around investing in yourself or amplifying your voice, that the audience can take into the remainder of their day, their week, their month, just something to kind of uplift them on this journey, because we know it can be so hard at times. But when we come together, our voice is very powerful when we unify. So I'm going to start up at the top with Kate and then work my way around, and then I will close it out for everybody. So Kate, you are up.
Sure. I'm going to say yes, especially when to things that make you a little uncomfortable, not to something where you're pretzeling yourself in, right? Don't do that, because then you're counter everything we just said. But I have found that often there's something that gives you a little twinge in your tummy and you're like, oh my God, do I do that? You really kind of have always wanted to do it. Bam, it lands in your lap. And then you think, you start listening in here. It's like, oh my God, no, I can't do this. Blah, blah, blah. That's when you know, it's time for you to say yes. It's landed in your lap. Little divine intervention. Go for it. And have a friend that witnesses you and encourages you to say yes, so that you can't back out. So that would be my thing. Don't say yes to everything. Just saying, because then
I love it. But also having that person that kind of helps push you out of your comfort zone too.
Accountability person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so important. Yes, thank you so much, Kate. Okay, Michelle.
I would say know how beautifully and wonderfully made you are, and know how much you are worth it. So if nobody else believes in you and invests in you, invest in yourself, and make sure that you have a circle that help amplify just how great and wonderful you are. And always know the best is still yet to come.
Yes, that circle and the best is yet to come. I love it. Thank you, Maddie. Over to you.
Sure. Is Buffet want to say something? Okay. All right. So I think now I can go next. Yeah. So my message is for all the listeners and the people who are seeing us, that always be true to yourself and be yourself. So always be you, provided so that it is ecologically correct, which means it is not harmful to anyone at any level. And even at the planet level. Yes. So this is very important. And then follow your heart and always follow your passion, no matter how difficult your journey can be. And sometimes it is going to be difficult. And sometimes you will be like alone into your journey, because maybe other people are not going to understand your passion. And that had been my journey even. So there was a time I was all alone, but I only listened to my gut feeling, and eventually all my people start supporting me. So they were supportive initially, but later they questioned me, but again they supported me. So that time, just follow your gut. And when you are in a position where you can help others, so always help others and keep this chain on. So, and help others regardless of expecting something in return, but just ask that person. And this is what I learned, that sometimes some people have helped me and I say that I owe it to you. So what can I do? And they said, we have helped you, that's all right. And now you just help at least one person in your life. And this is how you keep the circle on. Yeah. Thank you
so much, Maddie, for sharing. Okay, Ruth, over to you.
Yeah, so to every woman or young lady who's watching this, I would love for you to take this from me to you. You are limitless. You deserve all the good that is coming your way. And so once you believe that you are limitless, you know that where you are right now is the least you can ever be. And so just imagine how much more you can have. And with the access to, technology has made it really easy for you to reach almost anyone, with the click of a button. And so you literally are limitless in achieving the potentials that you have on your inside. So believe that you can do it. Believe that there is nothing holding you back. Reach out. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask a dumb question. When I was starting out, I didn't even know what a URL was. Yeah, I was that non-techie. So please don't be afraid to learn. Don't be afraid to ask for help. And don't be afraid to implement. Some people are just ever learning, and they're always the ones saying, oh, wow, that's good, I'm interested, but they're not implementing. And so nobody is rewarded for what they planned to do. Nobody is rewarded for what they plan to do, or what they think, or what they wish they did. There's always a reward for what you actually do. And so just take a step forward, one step in front of the other, and then you will reach your goal and even surpass it. I'm rooting for you to have a wonderful year ahead.
Thank you, Ruth. Okay, Buefe, it's your turn to close us out.
This is how I'm going to end this. Teach what you would want to learn. I say this because a lot of times people have that desire, women have that desire to teach this, they have that inspiration. Oh, this is what I think I should be doing, but I don't know so much about this. Or you see the 6 of us here and you're like, oh, I wish I could do that. Oh, I wish I could do this. Oh, I wish I could speak like that. You can do that. You can do. If you feel like this is what you should be doing, go ahead and do it. If you feel you should be speaking, go ahead and do that. Teach what you need to learn is a permission that if you've never permitted yourself, is a permission I'm giving you, that you don't have to be a professor and you don't have to have studied at Harvard to do something or to speak on a particular topic. If you feel you don't know enough of the topic, go and learn it, because you have the capacity to learn anything you put your mind to. So learn and then go ahead and teach that. No fears, no nerves, just go and serve. Thank you.
I love that so much. And I think that is at the heart of all of this, as we all can bring so much to the table. And if we come from a servant leadership mentality, that we are wanting to serve, and we know that we've invested in ourselves, we have the power to bring this into the world. We just need to trust that and just show up. All we got to do is show up and get there, and the rest will come. So thank you so much to the wonderful panel that we had today. Thank you for sharing your wisdom and your background and how you have invested in yourself and your career and your well-being and how you've invested in others. Thank you so much. And I look forward to staying in touch with all of you. And thank you to everybody that listened tonight. Have a great rest of your week.
Thanks, everybody. Great seeing everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.